There is one setting in Telegram that decides whether your account can be taken from you, and most people have never opened it. Everything else in the privacy menu is decoration by comparison. I host Telegram sessions on dedicated hardware for people who need an account to stay up and stay reachable. So I end up on the receiving end of the messages that start with, "I have lost my account," and after enough of those, you notice the same cause underneath almost all of them. It is nearly never something clever. It is a login code arriving as a text message on a number somebody else can read. So let me go through the settings in the order that actually matters, rather than the order the menu presents them in, which is roughly the reverse. The one that decides everything. Open Settings, Privacy and Security. Two-step verification. Set a cloud password. That is the whole recommendation, and it deserves its own section because of what it changes. Without it, whoever receives the login code owns the account. The code arrives by text, and a text message is delivered to whoever holds the number at that moment. That is the entire security model, and it is thinner than people assume. With a cloud password, the code alone is not enough. An attacker who has your number still cannot get in, because a second thing they do not have is now required. People skip this because the name suggests a password sitting on top of your messages, which would be tedious. What it actually guards is the act of signing in from a new device. You type it once when you add a device, and then largely forget it exists, which is why the setup cost is about 90 seconds and the payoff is the whole account. Write it down somewhere physical. I mean that. There is no reset that does not involve the recovery email, and if you lose both, you are locked out permanently. A recovered account is not a thing Telegram support does for you. The recovery email is the actual backdoor, and that is the part people set up carelessly, so it is worth its own moment. When you create the cloud password, you can attach an email for recovery. That email now controls your Telegram account because anybody who reaches it can reset the password and sign in. So the strength of your Telegram account is the strength of that mailbox. An old address you barely check on a provider you signed up for in 2015 with no second factor of its own is a wide open door with a good lock hanging on it. Use your primary email, the one that has proper protection on it. And if you decline to set a recovery email at all, understand exactly what you are choosing, which is that forgetting the password ends the account. Phone number visibility and the setting underneath it. Now the one people actually think of as privacy. By default, your number is visible to your contacts. Fine as far as it goes. What most people miss is the second control sitting underneath it, which decides who can find your account by searching your number. That second one is the one that matters. Leave it open, and anybody who has your number, from a delivery driver to a leaked customer list, can locate your Telegram profile, see your photo, and message you. Set it to my contacts, and that stops. There is a subtlety worth knowing. If you hide your number from everybody, people you message in a group can still see the account exists. They simply cannot see the digits. So hiding the number does not make you anonymous in a group. It removes one specific piece of information. For anyone whose number is public because of work, this pair of settings is the highest value change on the list after the cloud password. Active sessions, the audit nobody runs. Go to devices, look at the list. On a well-used account, there is almost always something in there that should not be. An old phone that was sold or given away, a desktop client on a machine at a previous job, a web session from a browser you signed into once and never thought about again. Every one of those can read every message in your cloud chats right now without any further authentications. That is not a bug, it is what a signed-in session is. The problem is that the list is invisible until you go and look at it, so it grows quietly for years. Terminate everything you do not recognize. Then set the automatic termination period to the shortest option you can tolerate, so that dormant sessions expire on their own rather than waiting for you to notice them. The default on that expiry setting is 6 months, which is long enough for a sold phone to sit in somebody else's drawer reading your messages for half a year. 1 week is available and almost nobody picks it. Reality furry niches I fun something. I blir brent av den indens. Fitens spines. The pattern is nearly always a device that left the owner's possession while still signed in, which is a thing people forget within a week of it happening. Last seen, and the trade nobody explains. Telegram applies a rule here that catches people out. If you hide your last seen from others, you also stop seeing theirs. It is symmetric on purpose, so the choice is not simply about your own privacy, it changes what you can see too. There is a middle option that is more useful than either extreme. Hide it from everybody, then add specific people as exceptions. Now the handful of people who genuinely need to know whether you are around can see it, and you can see theirs, and the rest of the world gets nothing. That exceptions mechanism exists on most of these settings, and almost nobody uses it. It is the difference between a setting you can live with and one you switch back a week later because it broke something practical. Forwarded messages link back to you. This one is quiet and it surprises people. By default, when somebody forwards a message you wrote, your name in the forward header links directly to your profile. So a message you sent in one group can arrive in a group full of strangers with a working path back to your account attached. There is a setting that removes the link. Your name still appears, but it is plain text rather than a route to you. Whether you want that depends on what you use the account for. For anything work adjacent or anything where your messages get passed around, I would turn it off. The message traveling further than you expected is normal. The link traveling with it is the part you did not agree to. Who can add you to groups? The spam vector, and the fix is one tap. By default, most people can add you to a group without asking. That is how you end up in a channel of 4,000 accounts advertising something you have never heard of, having agreed to nothing. Set it to my contacts and the problem largely disappears. People outside your contacts can still invite you, they simply have to send you a link and let you decide, which is how it should have worked from the start. What none of this protects you from. Now the honest part, because the settings menu implies a completeness it does not have. Ordinary Telegram chats travel encrypted between your device and the servers, and then sit on those servers so they can sync to your other devices. That storage is the feature you rely on every time you sign in somewhere new, and your entire history appears within seconds. It is also the reason those chats are a different category from the end-to-end ones. It also means the contents exist somewhere other than your devices. No privacy setting in the menu changes that because it is the architecture rather than a preference. Secret chats are the end-to-end option, and they carry real costs, one device only, no cloud history, and they vanish if you sign out. That is what genuinely private looks like in this application, and the reason most people never use it is that it removes the convenience they came for. I am not going to tell you to move everything to secret chats. I do not do that myself. I am telling you to know which of your conversations is which, because plenty of people believe the whole application works the way secret chats work. The profile photo detail, small, and it catches people who did everything else right. You can restrict who sees your profile photo, and you should. What people miss is that a restricted photo still shows a placeholder with your initial, and your name is visible regardless in any group you are in. So if the goal is to not be identifiable, changing the photo setting is a start and not a solution. The name field is the one doing most of the work, and it is entirely under your control. What actually goes wrong? From where I sit, 3 patterns I see repeatedly, none of which involve anything sophisticated. A number gets recycled. You stop paying for a SIM. The carrier reissues it months later, and the new owner receives a login code for an account they have never heard of. A cloud password is what stands between them and your chat history. Without one, there is nothing. Somebody else has access to the SIM. A family member, a shared device, a workplace phone. The login code is a text message, and text messages are not private to the account holder in the way people assume. In the old session already covered, which is the most common of the lot and the least dramatic, no attack at all. Just a device that walked away still signed in. Notice what is missing from that list. Nothing about encryption being broken, nothing about a clever exploit. The failures are all administrative. The 5-minute pass in the order I would do it. Cloud password on, written down somewhere physical, Recovery email set to an address you actually protect. Devices list opened. Everything unfamiliar terminated. Automatic expiry set short. Who can find me by number set to my contacts. Group invites limited to contacts. Last seen hidden with exceptions for the few people it matters for. Forwarded message link turned off if your messages get passed around. That is the whole job, and it takes less time than deciding what to have for lunch. The part I got wrong. For a long time, I treated the phone number settings as the important ones, because they are the ones that feel like privacy, and they are at the top of the menu. Then I watched an account get taken with every one of those set perfectly, because there was no cloud password and the number had changed hands. All that careful configuration protected nothing, because it was answering a question nobody was asking. So the ordering above is deliberate. The settings that control what strangers can see about you are worth doing. The setting that controls whether the account remains yours is worth doing first, and it is the one buried a level deeper than the rest. If you want Telegram running on hosting that stays up with the session hygiene I described handled for you, everything is at telegramvault.org. Subscribe for more on running Telegram.